Tiberius, the very long-awaited and highly anticipated damage character, is finally making his way to the realm with the new A Tigron's Tale update that is currently available for testing on the PTS. I was able to play a few games of Tiberius and I'm pretty eager to talk about him. So first off, this character definitely continues the trend that we've seen with Io and Rom. Since they've been spending more time on developing characters, the characters have been coming out better than ever. I want to quickly point out how this is reflected on the animation side. Tiberius's reload is sick, a lot like Rom's is. It is so satisfying to reload your weapon. You get something that is incredibly visually appealing instead of slapping a magazine into a gun. The way he throws his weapons is super cool too. There's at least 4 different ways he does it. Also, the little snap he does when he detonates his sword is the best. It's like you're snapping somebody out of existence. I know that's been a big thing for the past 2 years. There's also the whirls, twirls, and dashes he does with his elite and his ultimate. He is super animation heavy. I do want to go into his gameplay now, but I did want to give the animation team props for Tiberius because they honestly went all out. Alright, so how does Tiberius play? For me at least, he took a bit of getting used to. His weapon does fire kinda slow compared to other characters. Cassie and Amani do similar damage, but at a faster rate. So if you're used to those characters, Tiberius's weapon may feel a bit off to you at first. But you'll quickly get used to it, and it'll ultimately become a lot of fun when you do. Most of the time, you're carefully aiming these methodically paced weapons until you see an opportunity to use your combat trance and go all out on your enemies with bonus fire rate and movement speed. Whether that opportunity is to quickly burst down a squishy, melt a tank barrier, or melt a tank itself. He's pretty bursty thanks to this ability. You can also combo your heavy blade with your primary for some burst too. Tiberius can handle himself well in a duel because of all this. So when going against him, pick your fights with him carefully if you're not playing as another duelist with similar burst. I do want to talk about his heavy blade more because it does feel really cool to use. It reminds me a lot of Kratos' Leviathan Axe or Thor's Hammer, since you can call it back from basically anywhere. Doesn't matter where on the map it is, if you command it to, it'll find its way back to you, and it'll hit any enemy in its way on the way back as well. Now, even though calling it back is super satisfying, I found myself really liking his Tigron's Fury talent. This talent allows you to detonate your sword, rather than call it back. I like this for a few reasons. For one, you're rarely going to hit somebody when calling your sword back unless they stand still. But with this talent, you can easily hit them again due to the AoE, and you'll hit them for 800 every time since it has no fall off. You can throw your sword at somebody or into a wall or on the floor behind them, and detonate it quickly for some nice burst. You could also of course detonate it in a group of enemies without piercing somebody in the first place if you have good timing. Also again, I really like snapping at somebody and then they're gone. So far I've had no problems with any of the parts of his kit that I've talked about, but I do have a few problems coming up next with his leap and his ultimate. So his leap doesn't really feel all that great. It looks really cool in third person since you spin through the air, but as far as gameplay feel goes, it's a bit lacking. The wind up on it and the lack of air control definitely hurt the ability, and it also keeps his vicious assault talent from being viable. The talent lets you hit enemies for 700 if you land near them with the leap. If the wind up wasn't there and you had more air control, you could use the leap, hit some attacks on the enemy you're about to land on, since you can of course attack during the leap, and land on them to finish off the kill. It would be a cool playstyle that rewards you for comboing your kit while flying through the air. It would also allow you to play as more of a pseudo flank. Then there's his ultimate. So feel wise, I have no problems with this ultimate. This ultimate is super cool and super fun. Being able to fly and dash around with your sword is pretty unrivaled when it comes to fun as far as ultimates go. My only problem with the ultimate is that it's too powerful. With your right click, you're damage immune while flying through the air. And this isn't too big of a deal because you aren't very fast in it, so instant cast CCs can counter you. However, your dash is instant and happens so fast, and you have up to 5 of them. So you can easily dash through an enemy multiple times, and since it happens so fast, they won't be able to do anything about it unless they have an AoE CC like Damba's ultimate, or an auto-aim CC like Torvald's Nullify. There aren't many ways to counter him spamming his dash. He can normally get a free kill with his ult. His ult doesn't apply caught though, so other ults like Grover's can also counter it. But this leads me to my other problem with the ult. He gets it very fast due to his honed sense card. This gives you more of your ultimate while in your combat trance, when the ability already makes you do more DPS, so you're already getting more of your ultimate off of that. This card currently works in spawn as well, but we won't count that, because they are planning to fix that before the update goes live. Even out of spawn though, this card allows you to have your ultimate up too often, so other ultimates can't effectively counter it since you have your ult up more than they will, giving you several windows throughout the game to use it without worry. I think they need to take some of the power away from his ultimate and put it into his leap. Then he'll be perfect. The entirety of his kit will feel good, and he'll be very well rounded. It honestly impresses me how close to perfect he is right off the bat. There's not a lot of work they have left to do with him, because I do see all of his talents being viable once his leap is buffed. The only talent I didn't talk about yet was Predatory Instincts. This allows your attacks to bounce off walls up to 2 more times. This is really good on maps with tight spaces since odds are, some of the several bounces will hit somebody. I also want to bring up how satisfying it feels to hit enemies with your attacks after they bounce. I think it's the best thing about him, and when you kill them with it, it feels even better. It does also take some practice and getting used to, so it ultimately does feel earned when you master it, and I love that. Now what about loadouts? Well, I can tell you guys about the one I was using. Now there's definitely way more viable builds than this. I think Tiberius has great potential for a lot of loadout diversity, but I haven't played enough with him to have multiple builds tested. So I'll give you guys the one I used, and if you like it, you can use it. So first, I used Hone Sense 5. Again, this is a really powerful card. I don't see a reason not to use it. I also used Charisma 4 to get me up to 2,400 health. Being bulkier is always a good thing. He's already good at dueling, and more health makes him even better at it since enemies have to hit you more. I also had Imbued with Purpose 4. This lowered the cooldown of Heavy Blade by 2.4 seconds. This was nice since I was using the Heavy Blade talent. Then for fillers I had Flying Chalk Rams for 1 more ammo, and Pouncing Tigron for 8% more distance on my leap. Again, this isn't the best or only loadout. It's what I tested and what I liked. Use it if you like it, or if you have your own builds, feel free to leave those in the comments below for others to see. But yeah, I have to say, based on what I've played so far, I'm really liking him. I've been pretty eager for another exciting DPS character to come out, since I've already leveled basically all the ones I like up to level 50, so I'm excited to level him there as well. One day I'll have all the characters at 50 or higher, but for now I only have 18. The grind continues. Anyway, what do you guys think of Tiberius? Let me know in the comments below. And that's pretty much it, guys. I want to thank you all for watching. I very much appreciate it. And I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.